Hiya YouTubers, this is Superman G coming back at you one more again. And in this video, I am going to talk about your laptop when it can become kind of warm all of a sudden, um, especially around the top portion of your touchpad and around your keyboards. That shouldn't be happening on a regular basis. And what occurs is that when the more you use your laptop, the air inside your home or outside, it gets collected on the bottom of your laptop where you have these vents, and air gets sucked in and it goes inside the components. And of course there's dust in the air, and when it comes into the computer, it'll collect in the vent portion. Well, the vent portion is on this side of this particular laptop. Bringing in the camera view. And so then it starts collecting, and the dust forms almost like a barrier, like a blockage for the heat to escape out of. And what happens is the heat doesn't dissipate out of these vent holes correctly, and then it starts to form or back up inside of this area. And next thing you know, your bottom portion here of the keyboard, your touchpad, if you notice it's getting warmer when it usually hasn't gotten warmer, then that means you have a blockage in your vent area. You can usually feel around the vent area here of the laptop and feel the heat coming out. And if there's a blockage, you can still feel the heat, but you're gonna not be able to have this area cool like it should be. It's going to be warm, and that can be a problem, because what's happening is basically shortening the life of your internal components. If that happens, you need to clean the side of the laptop where the vents are, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now this applies to this particular laptop, even though all laptops have it, or they should have it, to where you are able to clean those vents. But this is the HP EliteBook 8460 model. Anytime that you are beginning to work on a laptop, please make sure that you remove the battery first, because that can, if your battery has a charge on it and you're working on the internal components, there's electricity going through the battery, from the battery into the circuits of the laptop, and you can accidentally shock yourself, or you can accidentally shock some of the components. So just to be on the safe side, always before you start working on inside of the computer, whether you're changing out the hard drive, upgrading the hard drive, the memory, always make sure you remove the battery first. There are usually indications on here on the bottom that shows you what to remove what as far as the battery. In this case, this particular laptop, the battery removal switch is right here. So it tells you which direction to move the switch in. In that case, move it to the left, and the battery comes out so. And to access the area where the vents are, you need to remove this bottom panel. And this particular laptop, this is one thing I do like about the laptop, is that I don't have to really remove any screws from the bottom of the laptop. There's another switch right here beside where I removed the battery, and all I do is push that to the right, and this case comes completely off, such as that. Okay, so move that over here. If you do have to remove any screws from the laptop to access the bottom of it, then this product right here is something I got from a website. I'll put the link to the website in the description at the bottom of this video. So here's the internal components of the laptop. Here is where we need to get to, which is right here, and I'm going to spin it around so you can get a more closer view. As you can see the vent holes right here, And this is the cooling fan right here. So this is what cools the internals of the heat when it generates from the laptop being turned on. There's only, I think, about 2 screws. There's one here and there's another here. Now there's a plug here too, which is the power plug. And if I remove that, then I should be able to take it out. And here's my demagnetizer. Whoops, I got screws on here. Sorry. But that's just as good of a demagnetizer and magnetizer as it is. So this is what I got off Amazon, and I'll put the link to it in the description of the video below. So all I do is just run this through one time, and then I'm going to start the drilling process. So here's the first screw to be removed. Now some of these screws are probably come with a spring, as these two most likely do, because this one has spring. And if it does, don't try to forcibly remove the spring. It's there so you don't lose, like a safety precaution. It's there so you don't lose the screw. So if it doesn't come out, don't worry about it. Just unscrew the screw as you normally would and let it stay there. And once again, there is a little wire here, which is the power wire. So you want to try to remove that as well. And this is kind of a small area. So once the screws are loose, you can proceed to take out the cooling fan. And then just pull this little connecting pin out. It should just snap right on there. There it goes. And as you can see, there's a pretty good amount of dust on it, on the fan. Probably kind of hard to see on this. There, you can probably see the dust now. Okay, and you can take this outside and blow it out with an air duster or whatever you want to, blow it out with. But if you can see right there, there's a layer of dust right along that area. And that's what's causing the laptop to overheat. And that's what you want to get at the grill. There's dust between the cooling fan and this vent grill. But that's where it is. It's right there. There. Can you see it? You can probably see it now. Right there. See all that white or gray colored stuff? That's the dust. So that's what we need to clean out. Alright, I have my vacuum cleaner here, and I'm going to suck this dust right out of here. And it might be a little loud, so just bear with it for a little second, okay? Alright, you can use alcohol, 70% or whichever percent. I recommend you not use water, because water can have contaminants in it. So you just take a cotton swab and you just go through the fins and just try to clean as much of the dust off as you can. As you can see all that dust that came out. You can make sure you get down here in the landing area or the resting area of the cooling fan, because dust collects here too. So any place where you see there's dust at, make sure that you clean it with the alcohol that I have here and the cotton swabs. And you can clean the fins of the fan. This might be a little tricky because the fan wants to move. Oops, get you in camera view so you can see what I'm doing. You just get the best you can. These fans are there's a lot of them, and they're very tight in here. So just, get what you can, do the best you can. And, it don't have to be perfect, but you want to try to get the most dust and debris. As you can see, it's a lot of dust coming out of the fan. You probably want to do this, there's no set time when to do this. It's just only it's when you start to notice that your laptop is heating up in the areas of the keypad or the touchpad where you know that it normally doesn't heat up, and that's a good indication that hey, you have some blockage on your vent holes or your cooling system, and it needs to be resolved. You can actually take this part off. Yeah, there's like one, two, three, four. I believe there are four screws that's holding that in place. I kept thinking there was something more to it than that, and I couldn't remember for the life of me. It's been a long time since I've done this. So let me unscrew these screws. And this should now come up and out. Yeah. Okay, and there. So this is the actual cooling part of the other cooling system, the vent portion. This is the thermal paste right here. Now, considering it's been a while, as you can see, it's kind of degraded, and some of it's actually gotten on the CPU. And this would be a good time to actually um, change that out, to clean it off, and put more thermal paste covering on the CPU, and that'll help with the longevity of the CPU. If you want to try to get all this old stuff off. As you can see, all of the thermal compound I was able to actually get off the processor itself, and on the copper heat pipe I was able to get all that off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the thermal compound to the CPU. And you don't want to put too much, you're just going to put a little bit, like a little dab. And there, that should be more than enough. Should be a pea size. This is a little more than a pea size, but it'll work. Now, you can use, I have on a glove here, and you can kind of spread the thermal compound around if you choose. It's up to you. Or I can just leave that like that and put the covering, the thermal copper heat pipe back on it, and it'll be fine. It's not to worry. But if you're one who likes to finger paint, just take it and just spread it a little over the. And this stuff here is a little thick. It's very thick actually. And now you can commence with putting the copper heat pipe back onto the processor. Okay, so that's the heat pipe back in place. Now, all I have to do is reconnect our fan. That's it. Everything is done. Now I can put the cover back on. And that's it. Now, this laptop battery is fully charged. So, just to make certain, and I'm going to back you out so you can see. To make certain that it works, we are going to test fire it. Here we go. And if everything works, if everything was connected correctly, you should be able to feel some heat coming out the side vents. If you do, that means you installed the fan correctly. And if it stays on longer than 5 to 10 seconds, that means you installed the fan correctly. In this case, it's booting up. Now this is an older laptop, so, and there it is. We are in Windows. So that concludes this video tutorial of showing you how to clean the inside of your cooling fan for your laptop. I hope this helps you guys out. You guys take care, be safe, peace out.